Hey, Racing Vlogs. How are you doing, everybody? My name is Tom, and welcome back to another weekly race showcase, the series where I pick a track in the Northeast, a random night on their weekly racing calendar, and just come check it out. Today, I'm in Wentworth, New Hampshire to check out the only dirt track, to my knowledge, in the state of New Hampshire that runs full-size race cars, Legion Speedway. This track opened in the mid-60s as a 1/5 mile oval. But in 1971, it was expanded to the 1/4 mile it is today. When it first opened, it was under the name of the Pine Speedway, and then later Norway Pine Speedway. And it operated pretty successfully up until the early 2000s, when ownership and name changes kind of turned into a revolving door. In 2002, new ownership renamed it to the Legion Speedway, but in 2009, it changed again. This time to the Rattlesnake Motordrome. Not very easy to say. That name only lasted 1 year because new ownership again in 2010 took over the track and renamed it to Big Daddy Speedway. I gave it that name because at that point the owner was the same owner as Big Daddy's RC race cars. In 2012, new owners dropped the Big Daddy name and renamed it back to the Legion Speedway, but only lasted until 2018 when Dan Bound took over and renamed the track as Rumtown Speedway. That only lasted up until 2022 when current owner and promoter of Scone, Ron Giroux, as well as his business partner, took over the track to hopefully give it more stable ground to stand on. We've renamed it back to Legion Speedway, and this is where we are today. Parking lot is 2 strips of dirt road that lead to the track. I have no idea where I'm going. Legion Speedway, man, what a hidden gem of a track this turned out to be. The track doesn't allow overnight camping, so you're going to have a voiceover outro today, and man, you could tell that this track is still trying to find its identity, but what it has right now is super fun and enjoyable to be a part of. When the owner of the track comes down to do victory lane celebrations, you know that that they really care about this place and want it to succeed. So I definitely recommend it. A couple things I wanted to mention that I forgot in the intro. Check out the website Geeter's Jalopy Junkies. It has a historical photograph website that has a bunch of pictures of the racetrack and the cars and the people throughout all the different names of this place. And then also, as I was doing the Google Earth thing in the intro, I found out the historical view has a picture of the 1/5 mile. And when I said the track expanded to a quarter, I figured they would just straighten the straightaways. But no, they just completely redid the track, and that's kind of why you have that long walk up to the stands. But that's all I got for today, man. I very much enjoyed this place. If you're ever in the northern woods of New Hampshire, I definitely recommend to check it out. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook. I'll see you guys next week, so subscribe for more. I'm always at a different track. Comment if you've ever been here before, and as always, support your local. All right.